Hey everybody, Kent Toussaint, licensed marriage and family therapist, coming to you live on Facebook every Wednesday at 12 o'clock to answer your parenting questions for tips on teens. And today, here is our question of the day. This current generation of young people is not only okay with identifying as not liking people, but it is actually celebrated to be antisocial. It's like a badge of courage to not socialize at all face to face. I'm not saying force kids to get out of the house, but I realize social norms are changing because of technology, but is it good for personal development? So another wonderful layered question by the fans of Tips on Teens. Thanks for questions. Keep bringing them in. So I don't know if this whole generation would be considered antisocial. There are a lot of kids and teens and young millennials, adults who socialize and connect to people. And I think that's great. But I think this parent is talking about is the pervasiveness of how social media and the internet can interfere. Because there are a lot of people, what he's talking about here is, yes, people can be distracted and can fall into the internet to avoid socialization. A lot of times people will wear that mask of, I don't need anybody. I don't need anyone. I'm independent. All I need is me. And a lot of times I think that's because they're afraid. Kids are afraid to socialize in some ways. And there could be a lot of different reasons why. But it's really important to identify why your kid is not socializing. Are they socializing at school? If they're a teenager, do they have other activities? Do they have a job? Any of those things. There's a lot of reasons why kids may not be socializing. But again, it's easy to wear that mask and say, I don't need anybody. So can you force kids and teens out in the world? Yes and no. I think it probably starts younger when they're little kids. When getting involved in t-ball and soccer and scouts and volunteering at their places of worship or theater, dance. It doesn't really matter what they do as long as they are doing something to help them socialize and get acquainted with people. Because it is important as they get older, they have social connections for work and starting families of their own and understanding how to have those intimate social connections. Because online friends are just that. They're online friends. It's not the same as a face-to-face friend. The intimacy is not the same. There's an intimacy of looking at someone face-to-face and having a connection with that person than it is over a screen or over a text. So yeah, social media can definitely get in the way. Absolutely. So we want to make sure we have limits on social media, video games. If you're going to allow your kids to play them or be on them, okay, but have limits. So they have to do other things. Because if your kids are getting, late teens, early 20s, and they're not getting out to socialize, and they're not making efforts, that's tough because it's going to impact the way they are in the world professionally. Are they going to make those connections to get that next job? And it's difficult. And if your kids are not doing that, maybe therapy is a way to help them, explore and process that anxiety. What's going on there? Let me see, if there's anything else I'm forgetting about. Social norms are changing because of technology. Yes, they are, absolutely. I think that internet and social media is this great experiment that our society is going through, and we don't really know what's going to happen with it. We don't really know 10 years from now, what is social media going to look like? What is online connection going to look like? We don't know. We don't know raising kids on social media and video games, what that looks like in 20 years. How are kids going to be changed and different? Because it's different than parents now, like Generation X parents. I'm a Generation X guy. We weren't raised with that. I remember Generation X was thought to be this crazy generation. We were going to destroy the world. And maybe we are. I don't know. But our kids, we're just as worried about our kids as the baby boomers were worried about us. So maybe it's nothing. I don't know. But it is this experiment that we're not really sure what's going to happen. So in the meantime, I do think it's important to help your kids socialize and get involved with things to break through that social anxiety. And if that's not helping, get them in a social skills group or a social anxiety group or individual therapy, get them the support they need. So when they are in the working world or they do want to start dating, they can do that from a place of relative healthy confidence. Anyways, that is our tips for teens today. Again, my name is Kent Toussaint. I'm the founder and clinical director of Teen Therapy Center. Also, I am the chairman and the executive director of Child and Teen Counseling, a nonprofit that we're launching in the spring to offer lower cost counseling and also training for psychology students how to be therapists working with kids and teens. We're very excited about that. So if you are interested in that, go ahead and check us out on Facebook at childandteencounseling.com or childandteencounseling.org actually, or just Child and Teen Counseling on Facebook. And if you have your question you want us to answer, email us at tipsonteens@teentherapycenter.com, and I'll see you guys next week at 12 o'clock. Bye-bye.